Good evening, Alofi and welcome to tonight's bulletin of BCN News. Leading the news tonight, there's been no update from Cabinet after its meeting this morning on the COVID-19 restrictions. However, it has been decided that the rollout of the Pfizer vaccine for children 12 to 15 years old will begin on the 24th of September. There will be a 6 weeks interval between the two jabs. This was confirmed by the head of public health, Griselda Mokoia, at a meeting held yesterday for parents and the community on the vaccination program for the children.
So the school has chosen the date for the rollout, which is on the 24th of this month. Reason being is that they would want, because the second dose is no longer after 21 days, like how we do ours. So the kids would have theirs after 6 weeks. So the idea is to minimize as best as possible the possible side effects from the vaccine that the kids would get. Hence the reason why they get theirs 6 weeks after. So the school wants at least 2 weeks break after the 6th week for the kids to have a break before they sit their exams.
The health team, led by Director of Health Dr. Eddie Akawala, Griselda Mokoia and Alicia Hipa, spoke to about 15 parents yesterday afternoon at Niue High School. The discussions include the need for parents to provide their consent as soon as possible so that the health department will be able to make the order for the vaccines. There are about 141 children in this age group, according to Statistics Niue. The Health Department want to make sure that the number of vaccines they order will cover children and some of the adults who didn't take the vaccine back in July. The Deputy Principal of Niue High School, Moira Jackson, was also at the meeting. She says that the school will continue to work closely with the Health Department, especially with this vaccine rollout. Moira Jackson says they want what is best for the school, that there is only one high school on the island and they want full protection for the staff, the students and everyone working at the school. She says that they cannot force parents to consent for their children to be vaccinated, but the school wants to reassure the parents about the importance of this vaccination for the safety of the school going forward.
We've planned for the kids to be vaccinated at the hospital so they can be accompanied by the parents, and after the vaccination then you can take the students home just in case they might react to the vaccine.
And while most of the newly elected village councils have been officially sworn in to comply with the Village Council Act of 2016, there are a couple of villages that have yet to complete that process because some of the key people involved are still overseas awaiting the resumption of passenger flights. The village of Lakapa have 2 of their elected members in Auckland right now, unable to return due to the suspended passenger flights. Ms. Rhonda Siakia and Mr. Ezra Dungyamana are both stuck in Auckland awaiting the okay to return home. In a similar predicament is Priscilla Iloilo Mokalei of Tuapa, who is also in Auckland on medical leave. According to government officials from Community Affairs, the law does provide options for such circumstances. One such option is the signing of a declaration. This will require the Director of the Department of Justice, Lands and Surveys and Community Affairs to provide a form with the oath contained in it, which will have to be signed by the councillors who are overseas. Another interpretation of the Village Council Act of 2016 is that if the elected member was already elected in the previous term and was re-elected in this election, then the oath they took in the previous term is considered valid. In the case of the village of Liku, where their village member of parliament, Honourable Poko Sipili, is also overseas, the Secretary to Justice, Darren Tovaka, has been granted the warrant to administer the oath for the village council members. The village of Vaea will have to wait for the decision of the Chief Electoral Officer as to when they may start the process for the by-elections for their village council. At the close of nominations last month, there were no nomination forms received for the village of Vaea. It's understood that after the completion of the swearing-in of the 13 other village councils, the electoral office will commence to announce when Vaea village by-election will be. It's also understood that most of the former village council members for Vaea are overseas. Meanwhile, the court's decision on the case of Carol Edwards of Alofi South, appealing the decision of the Chief Electoral Officer to decline her nomination, the decision of the court was delivered on the 20th of August. The decision of Judge Coxhead is that the court cannot make any decision on this matter, given there was no application before the court. According to the court minutes, the Chief Electoral Officer declined the nomination on the basis that the consent was made from New Zealand and the candidate was not resident in Niue at the time of nomination, as required by Section 2(1) of the Niue Assembly Act of 1966. Chief Justice Coxhead's decision cited that Carol Edwards indicates that she wishes to appeal the matter, but as such, no appeal application or petition has been filed. The matter is now at an end. And our families and friends in Auckland will get to enjoy their Niue talo very soon. They'll be happy to know that the shipment of talo and coconuts by Havaka Nui Limited have arrived in Auckland and are currently with the Ministry of Primary Industries for inspection. BCN News spoke with Havaka Nui's manager Brad Etuata about what it's like to export talo to Auckland when they remain in level 4 lockdown.
There are processes that we are following with the health officials in Auckland. Bear in mind that Auckland is still under level 4 conditions, so it is extremely hard. When I say extreme, it is very, very hard. But the good thing about it is that we're getting the assistance from the health officials, and which has allowed us and enabled us to uplift these containers. So right now the containers are in the MPI facilities, Ministry of Primary Industries, and as soon as the inspections are done, the containers are then can be brought to our warehouse facilities in Mount Roscoe, where we will start the process of distributing the taros and the coconuts.
There are certain rules when it comes to collecting the talo and coconuts in the current level 4 COVID lockdown in Auckland right now.
So we're going to start with the bulk buyers. The bulk buyers will be the first ones on the list. But we've been advised by the officials that there'll be somebody there from the health ministry. Not all the time, but they'll drop in now and then. So they'll come in, pick up the 30, 50 sacks, and then 5 minutes before that, another bulk buyer will come in. And then we'll just carry on from there. But for the majority of the buyers, Havaka Nui Limited at our cost is going to be delivering a lot of these taros to people's homes, people that cannot be there physically because of the COVID conditions.
Brad Etuata says that Havaka Nui Limited has been allowed to deliver talo and coconuts to their customers across Auckland. Havaka Nui Limited exported 683 sacks of talo, 200 sacks of fresh coconuts and frozen wahoo in 2 containers. They have a warehouse in Mount Roscoe, which is making things easier for people to pick up their orders. Brad Etuata says that he is also grateful for the assistance provided by the Office of the New Zealand High Commission at Tāpio for the opportunities through the PACER Plus trade agreement that Niue is party to. I hope that those fresh coconuts and talo has provided some reprieve for our families and friends in Auckland with this lengthy lockdown that they've been in. And in other news, the President and Vice-Chancellor of the University of the South Pacific, Professor Paul Aluwalia, spoke to BCN News last Thursday. He says that they've had to make some major changes adapting to this COVID pandemic. Some of those changes may see students from Niue study in Samoa in future rather than Fiji. Professor Aluwalia says that the future post-COVID pandemic may see Niue students studying from other regional USB campuses like Samoa. Meanwhile, the university will be asking that students remain in their country campuses for the first year of study and move to bigger regional campuses for their final years of study.
We're now absolutely committed to remote teaching. So it doesn't matter where you are, we're going to make sure that our students continue to get the best possible education. Unfortunately, this pandemic has disrupted a lot of things. And the big plans for USP really are that, first year will now be taught at your home campus. We really want to push for that so that nobody misses out. And that buys us some time, allows us to reassess work out how we teach. And my view is that it might be possible in the future, for example, for students from Niue to travel to Samoa, where they can study from Samoa rather than having everybody having to go to Fiji.
Professor Paul Aluwalia is still in Nauru since his deportation from Fiji in February this year. He and his wife Sandra will be moving to Samoa, where he will be based from the Alafua campus. The newly elected chairman of the Alofi North Village Council, Alofi, made his first public speech at the Alofi North Women's Show yesterday. The Alofi North Community Hall was covered wall to wall with the crafts and beautiful pieces made by the women of the village for their annual show. Alofi is the newly elected chairperson of the Alofi North Village Council. In his speech, he thanked all the candidates who put their names for the Village Council elections and paid tribute to former chairpersons of the council who led the work of the village of Alofi North in the past. The New Zealand High Commissioner, Her Excellency Helen Tana, was also there, along with other government officials and ladies from other villages to support the day. Village Member of Parliament for Alofi North, Honourable Vainga Tukuitonga, spoke and thanked the ladies for their dedication to putting on their annual show day. She spoke of working together to forge ahead and keeping the faith during these challenging times. The Women's Show Day is the prelude to the Village Annual Show Day to be held on Saturday next week, the 18th of September. Congratulations to the ladies of Alofi North for yet another beautiful show day. And we look forward to seeing the Village Show Day next Saturday. And speaking of show days, the calendar of village show days continue. Last Saturday, it was the village of Tuapa Uhomotu. Here are a few of the highlights of the day. And a hearty congratulations to the people of Tuapa Uhomotu. Congratulations on a successful show day. But that's our news for tonight. Do join us again on Tuesday next week for our bulletin in Wangahau Niue. Until then, you have a lovely weekend. Good night. Nono foa.